Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing great and awesome. For today's video, these are the topics that we are going to discuss. The first is Devops Bootcamp announcement. Second is what is DevOps and what is software development lifecycle and how DevOps fits in the software development lifecycle. Let's talk about the very first topic. That is from today's onwards on this channel, I am going to start the most requested series that is Devops Bootcamp. This entire series will be applicable for both technical and non-technical people as I'm going to explain each concept from the scratch. That means even if you are beginner to this course, no need to worry about. One thing I would like to mention here is that there is no prerequisite for taking up this course apart from having your system with you. I will always try to keep videos short and simple. Throughout the entire series, we will replicate the actual real-time task for our lab. Without any further delay, first let's understand what is DevOps as you are hearing this word quite often. But before getting into that, let's understand what is software development lifecycle in simple terms. Let's take a scenario. You are interested in creating an online store for selling books. So the very first thing which you need is an application for your online store so that it is for users to buy the books at one click, just like how we have the application online for Amazon or Myntra. Now, to create your online book application, you need to connect with the software development team to understand how the software development lifecycle works. So overall, you need to create an online bookstore for your application to sell the books. And in order to do that or build the code or to deploy that application, you need to connect with the software development team so that they can help you with this entire process. Now, software development team will explain you what all stages are involved in creating a software. And these are, the first is planning stage. In planning stage, development team will discuss about the requirement with you. For example, like what is the purpose of your application, what is the format you are going to use, and what kind of product you want to sell on this application, and the overall end user interface for the application. All this discussion are well documented for further use. In the next lecture, I will show which tool we are using in the planning phase. The second stage is analysis phase. In this stage, it includes gathering all the specific details required for a new system. This includes all the specifications for software or hardware or any network requirements for the system they plan to build so that team can decide overall budget and don't go over budget. Developers at this stage will often create a software requirement specification or SRS document. The third stage is the design and prototyping stage. Here, developer will go in detail for the overall application, and that includes the user interface, system interface, or the network requirements or the database, which they are going to use. They will typically turn the SRS document they created into a more logical structure that can later be implemented in a programming language and create a design document specification document, that is DDS. The next phase is the implementation phase or the software development stage. Now at this stage, developer will start writing the code for implementation of the application in any programming language of their choice. Developer will build the application according to the earlier design documents and outlined specifications. Now once application is developed, it will first be deployed in test machines for testing the functionality of the application. Here, testing team, if identify any bug, they will inform the developer team to fix the issues, and likewise it goes on till the application is not stable. The last is the maintenance. Maintenance in the sense like they will do the upgrade for the entire application or any kind of bug fixes or any kind of enhancement which user is asking. All those kind of things will come in the maintenance stage. At this point, you have the overall idea on how software development works in real time. As part of next lectures, we will see each of the software development lifecycle stage implementation in detail as part of the DevOps prerequisite course. So don't worry as of now. For any application development, we have two teams. One is developer and the other is operation team. Development team is mostly responsible for planning, designing, and building the system from scratch. And the other is operation team, which is mostly responsible for the testing and implementation of the application being deployed. Operation team will share the feedback of any bug after testing to the development team, and this in turn will extend the timeline and delay the software development lifecycle process. Means in short, Both development and operation team are not able to work parallelly. They have dependency on each other, and this in turn is resulting into the delay in the process of software development. Okay. So what if development and operation team collaborate and works together? And this is called as a DevOps approach. The DevOps culture is implemented in the several phase with the help of several tools. Like the first is the planning phase where development team will develop the plan keeping in mind what is the customer need. And for that we are using the JIRA software DevOps tool. The second is the code phase where the development team will work on the code part and they store the code in the version control system, that is Git. The third is build. In the build part, the code is then converted into an executable file using tool like Maven for Java or PyInstaller for Python. This is to make sure that we can share the executable on any machine and it will run. The next is testing phase. In this, once the code is built, it is moved to the testing phase. Most commonly used testing tool is Selenium. Once the testing is done, the code is now ready for the deployment and sent to the application team. Operation team will deploy the code to working environment. The most common tools for deployment phase is Ansible, Docker, or Kubernetes. The last one is the monitor. At last, the application is continuously monitored, and for that, we have tools like Prometheus. At last, again, the feedback is sent to the planning phase, and that's how the complete life cycle of the DevOps works. This complete integration and deployment is done by the DevOps tool, that is Jenkins. This is the integration, and this is being done by the Jenkins CI/CD tool in DevOps culture. Infinity sign in DevOps resembles that it is a continuous process and it increases the efficiency. It allows company to faster the development process and it is more stable. Just to add here, don't be afraid of hearing these tools as we will go through each of them in later videos. For today's video, these are the topics what we are going to discuss. That is why we are following the Agile method nowadays, what are the sprints and all the concepts related to sprint in much detail. As in the previous video, we have discussed about various stages of software development, out of which one stage was planning and designing the software. Continuing with the same concept, we will get in detail of the planning stage, which we need to know as a DevOps engineer to understand the overall flow. Again, we need not to go in deep of the concept because those aspects are being covered by a different role in IT field, and that role is Scrum Master. Now let's start with our first topic, that why we are following Agile method these days. To understand this concept in much detail, let's get back to our episode 1 example, where software development team need to create an online book selling application. Okay, but following the traditional approach, most of the software development are being done using the waterfall model, where the entire software application is treated as a single product and the development of one phase starts only if the completion of previous phase is done completely. So this delay in the overall development life cycle. Adding a new feature or updating existing features needed downtime. So what do you mean by downtime? It is a specific time dedicated to deploy or update the changes in the real-time software application product to avoid disturbance in the workflow of organization. Okay, previously organization used to follow the waterfall model approach where output of one phase is the input to the next phase. Like overall in the waterfall model, we have these many phases, and once the previous phase like system design phase is completed, then it will move ahead to the implementation phase. If any error occur in the implementation phase, again it will be reverted back to the system design phase and the entire life cycle of the software development will be disturbed. Same thing I have mentioned here, that this overall model will be treated as a entire application product. Also, the error for current phase, if identified in the next phase, then we need to go back again to the previous phase and start the fix again from the scratch. Few of the drawbacks following waterfall model is, here you need to analyze the entire prerequisite for software product earlier. Create the entire document also in the starting phase. Only in this case, chances of error are also high because the product is only released when the entire software product is built from the scratch, including all the features. Now, to overcome the issues faced in the waterfall model, companies are now following Agile method, wherein the entire software product is break into smaller pieces called as microservices that is faster to execute and deploy changes also. Here, you need not to worry about the previous task while working on the other phase. In short, it will reduce the downtime for the overall product development. Okay. Means in short, in case of agile method, team will work on a small features or a small enhancement. Once that small feature is being developed, that product is being launched, and then we moved on to the next stage, and again we will develop the new feature of that particular product. That's what I am showing in this diagram. This feature is built and then launched into the market. Then again the next feature is built, that will be launched in the market, and then the next one, and it goes on, unlike the waterfall model where we need to develop the entire software product at once. So in this case, downtime is also reduced. Unlike waterfall model, it reduces the risk of spending months or years on a process that ultimately fails because of some small mistake in the early phase of it. It directly interacts with the customers to understand the goals and provide solutions in a fast and incremental way. It also improves the efficiency and reduce the defect. Okay. So in this case, you will directly interact with the customer. Once your small feature is being launched in the market, customer will only give you the feedback, like if they are finding any bug on the software product or any kind of enhancement they are looking into. And then in the next phase, you will start working on those enhancements or bugs. So it is a kind of better approach than the waterfall model, as we are seeing these many advantages also in this kind of approach. Now, to adapt Agile, team will generally pick the method of a Scrum. Scrum is a continuation of Agile process where product is broken into the small pieces. Means minimal feature of the entire product is built and launched in the market. One feature will take around 1 month to complete that product and launch in the market. So that one feature is called as the sprint one, then the another feature is called as the sprint two, and that's how the Scrum method works. Okay. So till now we are trying to develop an online book application. So in that case, for the product development of that online book application, we might have features like the first feature can be adding an online payment feature. That might be our sprint one. Then the next feature would be enable new location for the product delivery. That comes under the sprint two. And that's how the entire product development is broken into the small microservices to ease the deployment of the software product into the market. It generally includes three roles to work. Like the first one is the product owner. Owner generally define the overall product and its features. The next is the scrum master. They keep the team going and responsible for taking the update on the progress, like kind of daily update for the overall project. The next is the team. They might be either developer or tester who works on the development of the project. Okay. So product with the minimal feature is out in the market at each of the sprint, and the customer will test it. And these days, we are mainly following the Scrum method, which comes under the Agile method. In my upcoming video, we will understand deep into Scrum using the JIRA software. We will be doing hands-on on that part. Okay. For today's video, these are the topics that we are going to discuss. That is, what is JIRA, what is product and sprint backlog, and the concepts related to Scrum in much detail, like epic, user stories, task, and bug. Towards the end of the video, we will also cover demo on all the concepts which we discussed. To follow agile methods supporting the sprint concept, most of the companies will use JIRA. JIRA is actually a project management tool for planning, tracking, and supporting software projects. We can use JIRA to track our task, release management, send email notifications, bug tracking, and many more. In this video, we will use the JIRA on cloud, where we will create a free account and start using it. I will show the demo after explaining the concepts. In the last video, we have discussed what is Scrum. It is actually the continuation of Agile process where product is broken into small pieces, means minimal feature of that product is built and launched in the market. And this multiple 2 to 3 weeks, several incremental releases are called as sprints, like sprint 1, sprint 2, and likewise it goes on. And also we discussed about the different roles in a Scrum team, that is product owner, who are responsible for connecting with the customer, gather the requirement, and create the user stories or tasks on Jira board, which I will be showing in this video in the demo part. Next is Scrum Master role, who will guide the entire team about the agile process and checks if the principles are being followed properly or not. Next is the development team, who work on the development of product. Now we are going to discuss about the product and sprint backlog. What is product backlog? It is actually a prioritized list of work for the development team, and that is derived from the roadmap and its requirement. It is kind of entire list of tasks and requirement for the entire product development. And same way, what is sprint backlog? It is actually the subset of product backlog tasks which will be worked in a single sprint. So sprint backlog is actually the subset of the product backlog. In this, only those tasks are defined which will be worked in the current sprint. Okay. In the Scrum framework, we follow few guidelines like daily stand-up call. It is kind of daily call with the team for at least 15 minutes about the update on task or any blockers if they have. And then the next is sprint planning, in which we decide the task for one sprint backlog and overall timeline for completing that sprint. And the next is sprint review, where product owner will be reviewing the completed task and closing the task on JIRA board. Now, taking the example of the online book application, what we discussed in the previous two videos, we will be discussing about the different concepts. That is, what is epic, what is user stories, what are the tasks and bugs. The first is epic. Epic is actually the large body of work that can be broken into a number of smaller stories or sometimes called as issues in JIRA. The entire product will be delivered in small sprints. Okay. So in case of online book application, epic can be to build the entire online application product supporting all the features like placing orders, supporting online payment and many more. And the next is what is user story. It is actually a general explanation regarding the software feature which customer will provide you, and you will track all those aspects in the JIRA board. So it is just a informal or general explanation of a software feature written from the perspective of the end user or the customer. So in case of online book application, we can create a user story as like applications should support customer order from a new state also. That kind of new feature what customer is expecting, that can be classified as the user story. Next is task. These are the individual tasks assigned to each of the developer to complete the entire user story. It can be a development work also, or it can be a testing work also. Okay. For example, if you want to complete the user story as an application should support customer order from a new state also, this may include work related to UI change also and work related to database table entry change also. So the task related to UI change will be assigned to the application developer team, and tasks related to database team entry will be assigned to the DB team. Next is bug. These are the error reported by the customer on the application deployed in market. For example, in case of online book application, customer may identify a bug, like they have seen one bug where if more than 1,000 people are placing the order at the same time from that online site, the system crashes. So the team will create bug to improve performance. Now we will go into the demo part where we will be creating a free JIRA account for all these user stories, tasks, everything we will create on the go on the JIRA board, and we will see in the real time how the entire project development happens in the real time, how we create the project, how we create the user stories or issues or tasks inside that particular project, how we track. For the demo purpose, very first thing is to create a free account in the JIRA on cloud. Let's see how to do that. Go to this link, and I will share this link in description too. Then click on the go to the next option. Then here we have two options actually. Either we can continue with our Google account or we can sign up with the new email. I will continue with the Google account. And here I just need to enter my Google account. Okay, then go to the next option. After that, here we need to enter our Gmail password, that is, okay. Once this is verified, now as you can see, the account has been verified and we can create our account here, okay. Now, once the account has been created, we can log in into the JIRA. We need to enter the same email address over here through which we have signed up. After that, we can enter our name as the site name. And as you see, it has been verified. Now click on agree. I will click on skip question as of now, but here you can select software development we want to do. So those options you can select. But for now, I'm just skipping these questions. Skip, skip. Okay. Here it is asking whether you are new to JIRA or you are experienced with JIRA. Even again, I can skip these options. So the very first thing that is required in the JIRA method is to create a project, and everything, all the user stories, issues, bugs, all those things will be created inside that particular project. For our case, we are creating an online book application code. So we can name our project as the online book application or anything, whatever you want, you can put the project name. Then click on create. As we have not gone into deep of these things as of now, so I will skip these queries. I just skipped everything. And now this is our JIRA board. And in the real time also, we will work on the same thing. Okay. As we have created this online book application project, same way we will try to create one more project on this UI. Click on this create project option. And it provides us few of the templates based on which we can create the project. So this time we will try to create based on the Scrum template itself because we are working on the Scrum method. Select this one. As you can see, these are the issues type what we can create using this template, that is epic, story, bug, all those things we have seen in our theory concept. Now use this template. Whether it is a team managed or company managed, anything we can select. We will select this company managed project because it will provide us some extra benefit over this team managed project. Anyway, anything is fine. Okay, now we need to give the project name, latest online book application. Okay, store. Now we can click on create project. As you can see, we are inside the latest created project, and here we will create the bugs, issues, epics, all those things will be created in this dashboard. By default, this dashboard is created based on the Scrum template as we have selected that option. Now click on the create option, and here you can create the issues, story, epic, anything you can create. For now, we will create the epic. Epic, we already understood that it is a large body of work that can be broken down into a number of smaller stories called as task. Let's give this epic name as online book application development. Okay, so it is the entire software product. Again, copy this, give the same in summary. We can even link this epic with another issues if we have. If somehow that is connected, then we can assign the priority if it's the highest or if it is high, low, or lowest. These priority we can assign based on these priority, team will work on it. Then we can select labels also. If we have assigned any label or if we want to create new labels, those things also we can do. Again, we can select any sprint, in which sprint these epic need to be worked on. But for now, we haven't created any sprint, so we are not getting any options over here. But once we will create the sprint, we can assign these epic in some sprint. Now again, we will create one more issue or story or epic, anything we can create. This time we will create one story. UI development of online book application. Same way, we can define the priority. We can select any labels. Labels are actually very useful in case of we want to filter the issues based on some labels. At those time, labels are very useful. Again, now we can select the epic link on which epic these issues will come. This time we have created epic, so this is coming. We can select this one. In which sprint we need to work on, that we can't select because we haven't created any sprint as of now. Now we can click on create. We create one more story. This time we will create table creation for book names. Okay. Again, we are selecting the same epic, and the sprint we can't select, we haven't created. Click on create. Now let's create one bug over here. This is the bug. System crashing if more than 1,000 people are buying book same time. Again, you can select the same epic. As we have just one epic, we can select the sprint, same things. Again, click on create option. As you can see, stories are in green color. Red ones are the bug because it is a high priority task that need to be worked on. Now we will create one sprint. So once this sprint is created, that is sprint 1, we can assign all the tasks which will fall in this particular sprint and need to be worked in this particular time frame. We will assign the task in that sprint. We can just drag and drop. Okay, so all these tasks I have assigned in the sprint 1. Now we can click on start sprint. We can set the duration for this sprint in which these all tasks will be completed. As of now, let's see, let's say I have assigned it 2 weeks. And finally, we can click on start. So sprint 1 has been started, and these all tasks are the part of sprint 1. Means all these user stories, all the bugs, everything are there in the sprint 1. So for now, it is in the to-do state. If any of the task developer or tester have started working on it, they can move it to the in progress state like this. And once the task is completed, they can also move it to the done state. Okay, like that, the overall flow will work. Once all the tasks have been completed, the product owner can review all these tasks and they can click on the complete sprint, and it will complete the entire development for that particular sprint time frame. Also in the backlog section, you can see all the issues and bugs, whatever are being created. You can select any of the story. Here we have the option, if you want to assign to yourself, then you can click on assign to me. Also, we have some extra fields like a story point. Let's say I have given 8 over here. That means this task is bit complex, difficult or risky to do, and it needs more time to be completed. Okay. Overall, you must have understood how the planning phase of project works in real time. This is very important to be understood by the DevOps engineer, that how in real time entire software application development happens. Today in this video, we are going to discuss what are DevOps engineer roles and responsibilities, and I will mainly discuss 5 important points. The very first is configuring and provisioning the infrastructure. Let's say you have created an application for online bookstore, but this code need to be deployed on some machine. So those machines are actually servers. It can either be virtual machines or on-prem. In real time, we provision and configure those machines using DevOps tools like Ansible. Secondly, we have set up and manage DevOps CI/CD pipelines. As per our previous examples, we were planning to develop an online book application store. So in that case, the entire building, testing, deployment of code onto the servers will be managed by automating the entire steps into form of CI/CD pipelines using DevOps tools like Jenkins. In the upcoming videos, we are going to do hands-on on AWS machines for this process also. Third is monitoring the applications. Once Once you have deployed the online book application onto a server, it's your responsibility to monitor that application so that it is accessible to the customer. So we use tools like Prometheus for monitoring. Fourth one is taking backup. Endless customer might be accessing your application, and anytime if application goes down, in worst case, you need to have backup of the entire system somewhere. It can be on S3 bucket on AWS cloud or somewhere else. Fifth one is incident management and root cause analysis. You are responsible to resolve the incidents reported on the application deployed. The issue might sometimes be related with the application or code side, but you need to work with the developer also sometimes to resolve this issue. Also, you need to provide the complete analysis for the incident reported by the end user. Apart from all the major ones I mentioned, we have other responsibilities too, like configuring private registry for storing the images, check from the security side as well, Decide on the DevOps tools as per your project requirements, overall system maintenance, and the list goes on. In my upcoming video, we are going to deep dive into Linux, which I believe is the base for entire DevOps. Till then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel, Devops-Techstack, and you can connect with me on Insta too. Thank you.